This series of articles is written for the beginning bodybuilder, someone who either has been training a very short time with some initial knowledge of weight training, but who is unsure of what they're doing, or someone just starting out. In my business, I work in a retail vitamin store. I get customers all the time who come in looking for the magic supplement that will pack on pounds of muscle overnight. When I begin to question their training, eating, etc., I discover they've been training maybe 3 to 4 weeks. They train every day. Sometimes I get a guy who says twice a day. They have no clue about protein intake, calorie intake, recovery, and on top of all that, the routine they use is anything but logical for their experience level. This extremely common. What happens then is we lose these trainees because they have no guidance, they're grossly overtraining and they burn out. There's no reason for this. With this series of articles, I hope to give people a logical guide to their first year of training. By getting them off to a good start, maybe they'll stick around for a while. Walking into a gym to work out for the first time can be intimidating, especially if you don't have proper guidance. Many new lifters either find themselves in that situation or are just training at home on some flimsy bench with a bar and a few plates. So, mistakes are common. Mistakes in terms of the exercises you're doing, how long you work out each day, how many days per week, the exercise form you're using, not to mention your eating habits. The first order of business should be to set some goals. What do you want to do? Why are you working out in the first place? Most people want to build some size, maybe to compete or maybe just to impress some girl. Many people want to lose fat and tighten up, adding some but not a lot of muscle. Regardless of the goal, however, you have to go into it with some kind of plan. With all the tons of information sources out there today, there is really no reason not to have a good, basic idea of what to do. Not like in my day, when info was limited and hard to come by. Nonetheless, we'll cover some of these basic concepts and things now. Basic concepts: what to expect. Most new bodybuilders, regardless of age, get into it after seeing a picture of some current, past bodybuilder. Of course, you want to look like the person in the picture. Be realistic, and strive to be the best you that you can be. The top guys have strong genetics and, yes, drugs on their side. That doesn't mean you can't build good size, maybe even compete. Just be realistic about your goals. So, just what can you expect in terms of gains? Everyone is different, with different lifestyles, and age plays a big role, so exact numbers are impossible to quote, but most new lifters see impressive strength and size gains in their first 6 months or so of training. In terms of actual gains, depending on the factors listed above, maybe 12 to 15 pounds, of muscle, 15 pounds. Being on the high end. This assumes you are natural, by the way. Drugs are a personal choice, but my experience is as a natural bodybuilder, so I'm not going to pretend to know a lot about how steroids affect your gains. Having said that, it makes sense to at least be aware of what they are and what they do, purely from a knowledge standpoint. There are enough knowledge resources available online that you can learn about them if you choose to pursue that option. Your first routine: the classic 3 days a week, full body routine, training Monday, Wednesday to Friday, is of little use beyond getting a feel for the exercises and working on form. Why? Because this type of routine allows for next to no recovery once you start training hard. Right now, right at the beginning, is when you want to understand how critical proper recovery is. Growth cannot occur if you are not recovering from your workouts, regardless of your level of experience. Recovery does not happen from hitting the gym 6 days a week for hours on end, something I'll talk about when I discuss common mistakes. The above routine is useful as discussed, and should be used for the first month, to allow the development of good form, rep performance and getting a feel for what exercise works what muscles. By the start of the second month, you should use a split routine. This will allow you to train harder and to use more exercises, and this type of routine enhances recovery significantly. Sets and reps: the first month, after warm-ups, 2 to 3 sets per body part is good. Reps at this stage are 10 to 12 per set. Wait, your first month is more about learning how to perform the exercises correctly, so you should be using a weight that easily allows you to hit the prescribed 10 to 12 reps, with maybe 1 to 2 tough reps at the end. Trial and error with weights really is an easy and somewhat fast way to get started. Expect your first session to be one of trying different weight to determine comfortable working poundages. There are, of course, more accurate but more complicated ways to determine starting weights, but this method works well enough. Pyramiding refers to starting with an easy warm-up set with light weight, hitting 15 easy reps. Add weight and decrease the reps over 1 to 2 more sets. I like to use 3 warm-up sets until you arrive at your first working set, the first set where you are training with your required reps, in the example, 8 reps. This set, seeing as how you are a beginner, should still be easy, but the last 1 to 2 reps should be a little tough to complete. Example: set number 1 equals 15 reps, set number 2 equals 12 reps, set number 3 equals 10 reps, set #S4-5 equals 8 reps. Pyramiding will be introduced along with split routines in the second month. Progressive resistance: one of the basic tenets of weightlifting, you must either add weight, add sets, increase intensity, or decrease rest time to encourage continued progress. At this stage, adding weight makes the most sense and will be recommended throughout the first 6 months or so. But by the very nature of acquiring experience, you'll also be adding sets. Decreasing rest time and the use of intensity techniques is used as you reach strength plateaus, when you are more advanced. Rest between sets: at first, you may find you need 2 to 3 minutes between sets, working down to 1 minute is ideal. As you get in better shape, you may find you need even less. A good rule of thumb is to rest just long enough to catch your breath. Rep tempo: performance, you want to take a few seconds, 2 to 3, to raise the weight, and a few seconds to lower it, slow and controlled, not just heaving it up there any way you can and then letting the bar drop back to the start position. You can pause at the top for 1 second and squeeze the muscle being worked. This may help develop a sense of what muscles are doing what during each exercise. There is more than one way to perform a rep, and there are numerous tempos you can use, but for now, follow the above. Mind-muscle link: this refers to the idea of being able to feel the muscle being worked. This requires being in touch with your body and the functions of your muscles. Take the time to look at anatomy. You should know what each muscle is called and what it does, and you should try to flex these muscles to get a feel for each one. As you work out, think about that muscle and its function. Try to focus on the muscle as you're going through your sets. In time, you will have no problem connecting with the muscle you are working. Proper performance of every exercise is critical. Doing an exercise with poor form can easily lead to injuries, and can limit your progress. The point is to make the target muscles work hard, not just heave the weight around however you happen to do it. Bodybuilding.com has complete descriptions and video demonstrations of every exercise, all list in the upcoming routines sections, so take the time to watch them and take the time to work on proper execution with a light weight. If you have a training partner, they can help you get your form down. The time spent now will lead to much better long-term results with a much smaller chance of injury. Training diary: from day 1, you should keep a log of your exercises, weight used, reps and sets performed, time the workout started and ended, and how it felt. Was this set or that set hard, too easy? How did the exercise seem to feel? This is your guidebook that allows you to chart progress from workout to workout. Breathing: don't hold your breath. To start, breathe in on the downward part of an exercise and breathe out on the upward part. As time goes on and you gain experience, breathing will take care of itself. Exercise selection: most of the exercises that should make up your initial training are called compound, or basic, exercises. These are exercises that involve more than one muscle group, such as the squat, deadlift and bench press. This is in contrast to isolation exercises which only work one muscle at a time, such as dumbbell flies, chest, concentration curls, biceps, and side laterals, side deltoid head. Stretching: it makes sense to stretch both before your workout and in between sets. This helps improve flexibility, helps keep your muscles warm and pliable, and can aid in recovery after your workouts. Bodybuilding.com has useful stretching guides you can refer to for ideas for each muscle. One thing I always do is simply hang from the chin bar for a moment or two, then go on to other, muscle-specific stretches. Variety in training. The idea of changing your routine after a certain time to prevent staleness. A good rule of thumb is that after 4 weeks, it's time to do something new, as you will have gotten all you can from your current routine. However, certain key exercises should always be there, squats, deadlifts, to name two. Soreness. Muscle soreness is a common side effect to working out. It subsides as part of the recovery process. Delayed onset muscle soreness is the most common type of soreness and occurs 24 to 72 hours after training. This is why rest days are important, to allow soreness to disappear before training again. In fact, if you are scheduled to train and are still sore, take an extra day off.